Hello, everybody. Sage here. I wanted to do a reading about Chris Watts. There was a there was a video um, about this communication speech that he had done. I guess it was like around in April of 2012. So it's chilling to actually listen to this speech, but I just wanted to do a reading to see was Chris Watts was he doomed to to this blueprint that was created for his family's annihilation? Was this doomed? Did he set the stage for this a long time ago? Um, let's Chris did say, which I don't believe a word he says, but uh he said that if he never would have met NK, he would have never have unalived his family. Um, I believe that the possibility of a blueprint leading up to what happened is very possible. And I wanted to do a reading to see if we can verify that. So here we go. I did shuffle before I began this video. Again, I do all of my readings up to this point with the Bluebird Marie Lenormand deck using the Grand Tableau spread. And the way I do my readings is my own method. So it's not something that you can really glean from a book. I do things my way. So anyway, let's get on with this. I'm really curious about this. Um, and of course, all alleged, my opinion, not facts. What I probably should do is read you guys some of the quotes from that video, that communication speech, and it was titled "Relationship Deterioration and Repair." Again, he made this video in April of 2012, and so okay, let me read some of the quotes, or I have a paper off to the side with the quotes. So here, let me see here. It says, this is what he said. Deterioration. This is quote. Deterioration. The relationship begins to crumble or fail. You have weakened bonds. You get bored of everyday routine, and you get distractions such as work, hobbies, relationships. No matter how harmless, you might meet a new person that could strengthen into something else. Oof, so creepy. Another quote, that was unquote. So, quote, sometimes when you have children and your relationship starts to deteriorate, a child could help repair it, unquote. You guys, you kind of, maybe you guys have already watched it, but when I watched that, I was blown away. So, um, was he doomed to set the stage, you know, for the blueprint to his family annihilation? All right, let's look. Okay. Whew. So this is definitely an affirmation regarding that this is about Chris Watts. I'm going to point out a couple things here. So you have the lady here, which I'm going to interpret as NK, looking towards strife. Diagonal from that is the children. She's above the moon, which is emotions, and especially harsher emotions, more like a bipolar type of emotion because it's next to the clouds, as well as the mice. And this is definitely NK energy. So, and also an ending. The scythe is a slicing through and like a cutting through of luck, um, and the key, which is a life's path. The book over the stars is holding information regarding loved ones that have or people that have passed on because she didn't love these people. Now there's also Chris Watts, which he's diagonal from the mice, which is a stealing of a stealing away of treasure and eating away of things that are good. He is diagonal from the coffin, and underneath the coffin is the tree, which is uh, unaliving, Death. And diagonal from that, from him, from here, is a crossroads. So NK was definitely instrumental in uh, creating this reality for them in this plane of existence. The snake across from the or diagonal from the coffin is a in this instance it means to me someone that has influenced negatively this new path of direction, which I contribute to Nichol Kessinger. I'm not saying that, I mean, they're both despicable, nasty monsters, but I'm just saying that it was her influence that had pushed him over the edge. And another thing I want to tell you guys, and I'm getting, like I said before, if you're new to this channel, how I do my readings is I start my readings and then information starts flowing after I start reading the symbology of the cards, and I start seeing flashes of images in my mind's eye. And there's it's a rather gruesome image, but I want to share it of NK in a bathtub of, sorry to spell it all out because YouTube is very strict on what you can say, so I want to be super careful. But she's in a bathtub full of BLOOD. And that's just a real sharp image that comes to me. And she's like sitting in the bathtub with her arms on either side of it and smiling. And which brings me to another image in my head, and it has something to do with New Orleans. And there was this really horrible woman there that would unalive people. I'm not saying that this is what NK did, but I'm just saying that it's just like this another flash to this. It's a comparison, and this lady would unalive people for their BLOOD to help maintain her youth. And I can explore this later. It could be that maybe NK is This sounds really wild, and I'm sorry, you guys, but it could be that NK is maybe perhaps that was a past life of hers, okay? Which would kind of make sense. So I gotta look into that. I gotta look in to see who that is, who this woman is that was in New Orleans, and it was this was like way back when. I see like old period style um clothing, and um there's these people. I swear there's like these people that she keeps in her attic. This is the lady in New Orleans back way back when. Not a nice lady, you guys. Not a nice lady. Very scary. Anyway, I'm going off track. This is definitely another, maybe it's another reading I can do later on regarding this past life for her. So anyway, uh, again, CW stated that he never would have unalived his family if it weren't for NK. Now, part of me will have to agree with that because she was a huge influence, as this reading states. And there was, as I've done in my past readings, there was these other influences that she had brought forth in order for him to achieve the goal, right? Her goal, the goal that she wanted. Um, you know, there was he Chris Watts actually he like I've said before, he never has been normal, okay? I shouldn't say yeah, normal. Um there was always something off about him growing up. He needed someone, and it was preferably a female because he was used to his mom doing it, telling him what to do and how to do it because it alleviated the social awkwardness. He didn't have to think about it because it really taxed him. He didn't know how to respond to people. He didn't know how to interact. And his mom and Shanann was something that he could rely on, that he knew that he could be safe with. You know how they say to interact and what to do. Um, Yeah, and I want to also point out that NK, Nichol Kessinger, she also had that type of energy where she told him what to do. In fact, when they started working together in Anadarko, that really was one of the things that attracted him to her, was because she was very assertive, and like the meetings and whatnot, he could tell that she would do that for him as well, right? But she also appealed to his ego. So that was a double whammy. She saw him coming a mile away. Yeah, like I think it was what was her name? Oh, Candace DeLong. She was that former FBI criminal profiler. She did state that Chris Watts, is a malignant narcissist and psychopath, and I can see that. I can see that totally. And I believe that Nicole Kessinger, she recognized this part of him. I think it was an attraction of that they had something in common, they both had something in common. And she also saw that he was easily malleable. She could puppeteer him easily. Um, I want to see something here? Did Chris, because he said he never would have annihilated, unalived his family if it weren't for NK. I want to see if there were previous affairs. And I do believe I stated in another reading that I did see affairs. And I also want to point out that yes, I do see affairs that he had committed, actually before his marriage to Shanann, as well as after. And and there was like electronic. I believe those people that came forward, that woman who said that she met him in some restaurant parking lot and Chris was like really rough with her and she didn't feel right. I think I'm not quoting her correctly, just you know what I mean though, but she said that he wasn't gentle. So there's a ring, a contract, and birds, which is electronic communication, money exchange. So it's like a match.com, some type of website that it looks to me like he had used like one of those gift cards in order to sign up for one of these websites because you can't track that kind of stuff. It was like not, it wasn't a card that could be attached obviously to their main account. Otherwise, Shanann would have seen it, right? But he had paid for this contract for to get online and look at singles and mingles and whatever else. And Chris actually, he definitely he had look at something here. He definitely had issues with. Now, everybody, I gotta tell you, to each their own. Okay, I'm not trying to down on anybody, but I do not see him ever being faithful to Shanann. So him making that statement that if it weren't for NK, he wouldn't have unalived um, his children. I actually, in this instance, I do believe that statement up to this point. Up to the point that that had happened, that he had unalived his children, because there were other affairs that had occurred. So going to, if he were going to do that to his children and his wife, it most likely would have done that. Now, don't get me wrong. I think that, well, obviously he's capable of doing it because he did it. Um, I think that Shanann definitely held a purpose for him. Um, it was for like social outward appearances kind of a thing. But you guys, I do see it might be this the psychopath, the malignant narcissist, psychopath part of him. But I do see him like there's flashes of images in his mind when he gets like when he would get upset with Shanann. Not specifically the children, but with Shanann, he would have these internal mental images of things that um, oh, things that he fantasized about doing to her that were not nice. Okay. So anyway, uh, I kind of want to touch on a little bit of his darker urges. Um, and another one of the reasons why he looked outside of the marriage was because of the fact that I think he was an addict in that way, because when he was doing exual acts, that's what actually filled him with something of feeling, right? Otherwise, he was like an empty shell. This fulfilled him in a way that made him feel something inside. Now, if I remember right, NK actually stated, and I don't know how true it is because I don't believe anything she says either, but I don't know, she said it. So she mentioned that they had intercourse 3 or 4 times a day when they were together. And, and she was looking into alternative ways of of having these interactions with him, ANAL stuff. And I got to tell you too, he had bisexual tendencies. Oh, I said the word, but whatever. Ah, um, I never know what I can say on YouTube. But anyway, I said it. But anyway, he this is something that Shanann would have never been able to fulfill. She was a good, not to say that people that swing are bad people. I'm not saying that at all, but she was more of a person that was very traditional, um, and cautious on who she allowed in her, her personal space. And she even mentioned that before she started dating Chris, right? And it kind of makes sense too, because that he had done this before. If you think about it, you guys, the way that they had connected, and I believe it was way before she had worked for Anadarko. Okay, I think it's pretty obvious, really. I'm surprised that the police officers didn't hone in on that quicker. I don't think they're stupid, but I just don't think they looked into it as far as they should. But anyway, it was nothing to him, right? The second Shanann left to go to visit her family, he was, seriously pouncing on trying for another relationship with Inke. Um, I think the attraction between them two were were such that, like I said before, they recognized the darkness within each other. It was an attraction, and that was the key. That was definitely the key. And she was also one that would tell him what to do and how to do it, while also appealing to his ego. All right, what else here? Uh, it kind of makes me wonder, right? Why did he have children? Well, I think a lot of it has to do with. I'm just going to mention this, the last thing before I end this reading, because it was a question I had. Is like, why did he have children, right? And it definitely had something to do with outward appearances, how things looked for other people. Not necessarily I don't he didn't feel love, you guys, so it's not like he loved them, obviously, right? I mean, a jerk, nasty monster. It was an outward appearance. Also, I kind of see what he was. Chris Watts had almost um, an anxiety regarding social groupings, and I have these flashes in my mind's eye regarding he would use these children as an excuse to go off by himself with them so he didn't have to interact. He didn't want to be found out. He didn't want to be found out he was weird, because he was definitely weird. He didn't have the same emotions, or he didn't have any emotion, but he it was very obvious if you talk to him for a specific period of time and he didn't want to be found out. So he would like use these children. He would use these children to get out of that social awkwardness. Ugh, just gross, you guys. So all right, well, this is about all the information I'm going to get out of this for right now. I really want to look into this past life of Nichol Kessinger because it was a very vivid image in my mind's eye. And I think I really want to delve into that further. Maybe next week, huh? All right, so I'm going to um, do the contest. I'm going to do a random number generator. I want to see who is the winner of June's free reading. So let's see here. See if I can get. Okay, 1 to 500. Now, I want to remind everybody that hopefully, if someone picked the right number, that you're subscribed to my channel, because if you're not subscribed to my channel, that number will not count. And it's got to be underneath the video, in the comment sections of the video, titled New June Contest. So I know it gets a little confusing, but I think once we start gaining momentum, doing this more and more every month, I think people will be able to grasp it easier. So, because I still get people putting it underneath the community section tab, which we did before, so I can see why it'd be confusing. But anyway, we'll get it straight one of these times. We'll all get it straight. So, okay, 1 to 500. Let me see if I can blow this up. Oh. Okay, I'm gonna hit generate. Woo, number 343 is the lucky winner. Hopefully somebody picked it. We'll see who it is. And I go from the bottom up, from the comments from the bottom up, because whoever chose that number first is the winner. 343. All right, everybody. And I will post another video, new contest video for July, after this video. And I would suggest you start choosing your numbers quickly, because it's more difficult as time goes on to choose a number that someone else hasn't chosen already. And please make sure you get back to me. I'm going to put a comment underneath the person that chose this number to email me with my email address, and get back to me, and we'll make an appointment for your free reading. So, and also, I do readings. I charge $80 for half an hour. And if you're interested, email me at baba70ak@hotmail.com. BABA70AK@hotmail.com if you want to set up a time. So anyway, thanks everybody for listening this much to me, and I hope everybody has a fantastic day. I love all of my subscribers. Much love and light to you all. I appreciate everybody. Hit subscribe, like, and share if you haven't already. All right. Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.